Merge! Hello, welcome back everyone to the video series dedicated show on CBS that's just looking for a bit of redemption. That's right, we're talking about Survivor Season 40, Winners at War, Episode 8. And we have a lot to cover, so we're going to start off where this episode begins, and that's at the edge of extinction, where everyone was giving a questionnaire and a menu on what they want to use their fire tokens for heading into the first redemption games. Finally, we get some redemption happening, and somebody from the edge of extinction will be back into this game. Now, talking about redemption games, everyone is conjoined at the redemption games, all three tribes and the edge of extinction players, and that's when Jeff drops the buffs and says, hey, everyone is merged, no more Sele, no more Decal, no more Yara, everyone is a big old happy tribe called Koru. This redemption game, which is a series of obstacles leading into a Survivor Classics like the making a long and reach out of little tiny sticks and string, trying to get a key from far away using them, and then getting past the door to do the levitating puzzle, to wind this ball around a windy puzzle, and up at the top, the first player to get through this whole obstacle course wins themselves back into the game, where the rest of them have to go back to the edge of extinction and wait it out until the last redemption games of this season. Now, everyone has an advantage coming into this redemption games except for 3 people, and that was Parvati, Yul, and Amba. The advantage is that all these players can bypass having to dig for their strings. And let me tell you right now, it's a big advantage because these strings are dug so deep. At the word go, Tyson and Boston Rob are like neck and neck, 1 and 2, and that's pretty much the storyline throughout this whole competition. Tyson always seems to be a little bit ahead of Boston Rob until you get to the door, and then Boston Rob was able to get through that first, and he had a bit more time on the puzzle. And then Tyson came in second, Natalie was coming in third, and then everybody was able to get past the door except for Amba, who just could not get that string and that sticks to work and get those keys. Everyone had a shot at the puzzle. Everyone failed on their first attempt at the puzzle. And then that's when we got to the bare knuckles of this thing, and that was Tyson versus Boston Rob. They were going pretty much at the same level, at the same speed. They got to the same point in the puzzle right at the very end. It was like inches away until Tyson nudged past Boston Rob, winning himself back into this game, and everyone at the edge of extinction had to say goodbye, sayonara, but at least we'll get to see them a little bit more as the game progresses, as they will be at Tribal Council, at every Tribal Council, listening in at the one big merge Tribal Council. We get through the merge feast, of course, and that's when Denise is telling the war stories of getting the Queen, Sandra, out, and everyone, jaws are just dropping, and they are thinking, I need to build up my resume in this game because Denise has it. I mean, she is a big threat at this point. So going back to the former Sele campsite, now is the Koru campsite. Tyson and Ben start fast as they want to make a Big Threats alliance with Tyson, Ben, Jeremy, and Tony, and they want to take out the smaller threats like the Nicks, like the Adams, like the Wendells. However, Jeremy wants to keep Wendell, as Wendell and Jeremy have hung out outside of the game. They have a rapport, and Wendell wants the same thing. He has some numbers, he wants to stay along. For the first couple of hours, it's fun and fancy-free at the Koru tribe until a downpour of rain. It's cold, it's wet, everyone is shivering, everybody is miserable, they hate it except for Adam because he's a sociopath. And the rain continues heading into the first immunity challenge. And the first immunity challenge is essentially everybody's gonna be hanging onto a pole. The one that can hang on the longest wins. But to make things interesting, the person on the women's side that can hang on the longest and the person on the men's side that can hang the longest will both win immunity and a fire token. Now, morale is low heading into this immunity challenge because everybody's wet. It's still raining and people are shivering. Sophie is like crying at the beginning of this, and I just feel for her because it looks so miserable. I felt like shivering even though I was in my house and it wasn't raining. But we head into the immunity challenge, and people are dropping faster than they would have, I believe, because of the rain, because of the situations. Michelle falls really hard, and she's the first one out. I mean, it looked like a nasty fall as she fell from really long heights. I think Adam was scared of that too. As he was shivering, I think he was just worried that you had to inch your way down, and if his fingers gave out, I mean, you're falling from a really long height, just like Michelle did. The last 3 on the women's side that was hanging was Sophie, who people thought she was going to be out early, actually held on until the final 3 girls. then Kim, and then Denise. Then we had Jeremy, Ben, and Nick for the guys, and Sophie and Ben pretty much fall at the same exact time. Then Kim fell, and Denise was able to stay on and win that immunity, which I feel as though she needed, because after saying her war stories about getting Sandra out, she could have been the one that was going to be out next. But Denise is one that's going to be tough to beat coming down to the stretch. I mean, she was up there for a long time, holding strong. I mean, she didn't start slipping until the very end. And then we had Nick and Jeremy for the guys, and let me tell you right now, Nick was over there smiling, trying to like see how Jeremy was doing, and Jeremy was just like dead face, game time, we're doing this, I'm gonna win, so you better just drop off. And Nick eventually does fall, and Jeremy wins individual immunity for the guy's side and a fire token. So heading back to the campsite, Jeremy is feeling like he's really in power now. Like, he wants Wendell to stay and Nick to go. But he wants to split them up because Wendell said that Nick is his number one guy and Jeremy wants to be the number one guy, and he wants Wendell to be his number one guy. So going back, he goes to the Big Threats Alliance and says, let's get Nick out. Nick is weird. He's always like coming into people's conversations. Let's just get him out. So everybody's saying that's fine. But once the two names are floated out there between Nick and Wendell, Sophie and that side of the tribe want to get out Wendell because they don't think that they can work with Wendell down the line. They think Nick is a little bit more malleable, that they can work with him and he could be a number for their side. So Sophie's like, I want to get out Wendell. So Ben, after hearing everybody say that they want to get out Wendell, goes back to Jeremy, and Jeremy is frustrated. This is exactly what he didn't want. So now Jeremy has to retool his strategy and flip everybody's vote from Wendell now over to Adam. So he's like campaigning hard to get Adam out. He is safe. He has immunity, and to see someone campaigning so hard for somebody else, it just shows that maybe they do have a strong tie with one another, and maybe that was the factor that kind of nudged everybody into wanting to vote out Wendell. I may have gotten a little bit into a spoiler alert there, but let's go on to the tribal, as everybody is now either voting for Adam and Wendell. Jeremy is definitely voting Adam, we know, and Sophie coming in is definitely voting Wendell. Adam is paranoid as all garbage, and he's always getting mad at Ben. So really, it comes down to the vote. After everybody and Jeff are talking, it comes down to the vote. The vote comes down to a 3-3 tie at one point between Wendell and Adam. And then these avalanches of votes for Wendell start piling on, and Wendell is the first person to be voted out of Survivor Winners at War post-merge. But what do you think about this episode? Let me know that in the comment section below. Were you happy to see Wendell get voted out? Let me know that too. Were you happy that Tyson was the one coming back from the edge of extinction, or were you hoping for somebody else to be getting their redemption? Who did you want to see come back? If it wasn't Tyson, let me know that in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. While you're down there, hit that like and subscribe button. I'll be back really soon with more Survivor review and recaps on Thursdays, Challenge Total Madness review and recaps on Thursdays, and much more content and challenge content to come. But until then, peace.